welcome back to Madness in the Method, the Nicolas Cage podcast, where we take a deep dive into the career of one of our most prolific actors of today, I would say. Nicolas Cage, that is. And with me is my friend and trusty co-host, Christopher.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. And today we are talking about a movie that I had never heard of, and spoilers for the rest of the discussion, I never want to hear about it again. We're talking about Firebirds. Yay.
Yeah, that's the movie.
That's the movie. It's yeah.
Let's just get into it.
Yeah.
Had you hadn't heard of this movie before?
No.
Did you done any research, or did you have any? What did you expect? Did you expect anything?
I had done zero research. This is one of those movies I didn't even know was on the list. And there isn't much, like many of his earlier movies, there isn't much research to be done. It's just a movie. Even though it stars a bunch of famous people, and it looks to have been, at least a mid-budget movie, there's no information about it.
Yeah.
Basically. Other than who wrote and directed it, and a few trivia little bits on IMDb. That's about it. I don't know. Did you find any more? Did you do any research?
I mean, no, I did no research before, because I never do that. As little as I can, because I think it's more fun that way.
Yeah.
But I did some research after I watched the movie, so looked on Wikipedia and IMDb and things like that. And I mean, IMDb has a bit of trivia. It actually has a trivia section, which most other movies doesn't even have that. So
yeah, but the trivia was very
yeah.
They filmed in a desert, and instead of the Scorpio chopper was actually a so and so chopper. And okay, whatever.
But just you mentioned mid-tier budget. So the estimated budget for the movie was $22 million.
Yeah.
And it grossed about 14 million.
Ooh.
I don't know if it's together, because it's the same number. 40,700,000 in gross USA in Canada and worldwide. It's the exact same number. So I guess it's all the money they made. Yeah,
probably didn't get outside of. Didn't really have a worldwide release then.
No. Which is understandable.
Very, very understandable. Because this was trash. I mean, we haven't really watched a terrible movie yet. We've watched some, less fun movies like Boy in Blue.
Yeah.
But this was just the worst. It was so boring.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, because I've seen the poster before, just looking up the IMDb. So based on the poster only, I thought this is gonna be some sort of kind of standard, maybe Vietnam movie. That was what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But no, it was a ripoff of Top Gun, but with helicopters.
Yeah, exactly. That was one of the few trivia bits. It was called, at the time, the Top Gun, but with helicopters. But I gotta say, I'm not the biggest fan of Top Gun, but Top Gun is much better than this. At least that has some speed and some pizzazz, and it has Tom Cruise. I mean, this movie sure has Nicolas Cage, but he seems to be on, downers the entire movie. He's so boring.
Yeah. I mean, we did see some Nicolas Cage acting at some points.
There's one scene when he finds out that Sean Young is going to join them in the mission. He's like, "Can't you understand? I don't want you to get hurt!" That was about it.
And it did the best, super high kick.
Yeah. She was like, "Deal with it!" And he's like, "Yeah!" And he kicked 16 feet up in the air. Yeah.
There was also one scene when they were playing video games. Or simulator.
Oh, yeah. I am the greatest!
Yeah, I did
Okay,
sort of rage
sure,
cage.
sure.
So we saw it sometimes, but most of the time it was just. I feel most of the actors in this movie was just like phoning it in. They did.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, it felt like Tommy Lee Jones. He tried to do a bad job, but it's still Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, I was gonna say I did like Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
But he's always like solid, even when he doesn't try.
Yeah, exactly. And you because you saw him as I see you don't try, but Jesus, you're better than everyone else in this movie.
Yes, he was acting circles around everyone without even trying. It was insane. But that's the only like plus for me. The rest was just so bad. The directing, the acting, the music. It's a movie about attack helicopters, and I've never been so bored watching these multi-million-dollar war machines flying around because nothing happens. It's all just training missions, except for the end.
And also they had this problem, which most a lot of early 2000 action movies had this problem, where the camera is just too close.
Yeah.
So you never really got to see the scope or see the big picture, specifically in like the last battle of the show of the movie. You just couldn't really figure out what's going on.
I wanna just be fair towards the movie there then, because we found a version on YouTube. Because once again, this movie was more or less impossible to find, except for someone had uploaded a DVD rip on YouTube, and it looked like it might have been a little zoomed in. So it might not be as weirdly edited if you watch it for real, but I mean that wouldn't help a lot.
No,
it's still a terrible movie, but just to be completely fair towards the movie.
Yeah, that's true. So let's go into spoilers. What is this movie about then?
Well, on IMDb it says elite Apache helicopter pilots are tasked with destroying powerful armed drug cartels operating in South America. But that's like 3 minutes of the movie. The rest is just helicopter pilots training and sitting in rooms. That's about it.
Yeah, so it is. They're going on a mission to South America.
Yeah,
somewhere in South America.
Yeah, it's the land of South America.
To kill one bad helicopter, and if they do that, they win the war on drugs.
Yeah, that was also like it starts out with a quote from George W. Bush, or George Bush Sr., I suppose. Yeah. About like, oh, we won't take this crap anymore. It's basically when they're starting the war on drugs. But then in the movie, like the drug cartels are like this. Yeah, they're the ominous threat, of course. But the main bad guy, so to speak, isn't some drug cartel or some like kingpin or something. It's an American terrorist working for the drug cartels, like one specific guy. Yeah,
it's a mercenary.
Yeah, and that was first of all, that was a weird choice, and second of all, he's never established as being like a super evil bad guy. There's the one thing in the beginning, which is I don't even know what was like. It's Nicolas Cage meets talks about a mission where they run into him, and then he's never shown again until the ending.
Okay, so I feel like it's pretty jumbled here for people who haven't even seen the movie. Okay, so the movie starts out with that America is lending forces to South America to stop the drug cartels.
Yes,
to stop the war on drugs. And Nicolas Cage and some other guys, they are doing a mission where they're just going around in choppers and trying to find the cartel, I guess. And then the best pilot he ever seen just comes out from nowhere and kills everyone. Everyone's dead except Nicolas Cage and his helicopter, because he's the best they have.
Yeah.
And then he goes back to America, and the movie starts with like he's briefing this situation, debriefing, to some important people. I don't know, the president or something.
Yeah.
And then they decide that they can't just kill American soldiers. We have to get revenge, even though we sort of invaded them. But yeah. So they will set up this special super team of elite Apache helicopter pilots to go there and specifically kill this guy who shot them down, and stop that specific cartel in that specific region.
Okay, yeah.
And then, so most of the movie is seeing these pilots being trained. The big problem is that every single pilot in this movie is already the best.
Yeah, yeah.
So the training doesn't really do anything. It's mostly, as you said, they walk around, sit in rooms and talk, go out and flying a training expedition, and everything goes fine.
Yeah.
And it's just, everything's great, sort of. And then we have a... Yep.
The big hurdle for Nicolas Cage's character is that he can't fly with one eye closed because he needs to use his right eye, even though he's left eye dominant.
Yeah.
So he has to be able to do that because we need to use that kind of radar system, even though he could just look out the windows when it actually. Yeah. Comes to actually fighting. The whole training to use the eyesight radar thing makes no sense, because in the final fight they don't use it.
Well, no, they do. They do.
I mean, yeah, they use it, but it's not like, oh my god, our windows are blacked out. I need to rely on radar. No, he could just look outside the window.
And it's also this problem, if you can even call it that. It rises up like in the middle of the movie. Mm-hmm. And they solve it within 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's just solved.
Yeah, he learned to use his left eye instead of his right eye instead of his left eye. And I was even like, oh, so they figured it out, so they could just switch the radar thing then.
Yeah.
But no, he has to learn to be right eye dominant. I was like, oh, okay, all right, whatever. But even so, yeah, they just solve it, and then he's fine. He's the best again. Yoo-hoo!
Yeah. And then we have two subplots. One which is okay, could be good, I'd say, and one that is garbage.
Let me guess.
Yeah.
Tommy Lee Jones as, what is he, Officer Commander Brad Little or something?
Yeah.
Needs to show that he still got it. God damn it, even though he's old. And the other one is Sean Young and Nicolas Cage used to be engaged, but he can't handle her being in the same group or tactical team as him because he's afraid she's going to get hurt.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, the love story or whatever it's called, it's garbage, complete garbage.
Yes, it's terrible.
It is. First of all, it's very cliche about she says no, but she really wants yes if I just keep fucking nagging her about it. And this just sort of toxic thing where he's always like, you should be in the kitchen. I think he actually says that in the movie, and she's like, no, I want to work as a pilot. Fuck off.
Yeah, she says, all you want me to do is stay in the kitchen and take care of babies. He's like, what's wrong with that?
My mother did that. And it's like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, it's supposed to be this. They're going for like a pro-feminist angle, like, hey, listen, some women may be like that, but I don't. I like flying helicopters. But then in the end, he has to save her anyway. Well, she even says, like, save my ass.
Yeah,
Nicolas Cage.
Technically, he doesn't save her. She yells out for him to save him, but he's too far away, so Tommy Lee Jones is doing it instead. Actually, but anyway, so the big problem there is that he goes like with the old gender roles. She does not want to be in the old gender roles, and we don't move forward in that. That's just all of really. It. And even in the end of the movie, just like the last line of the movie, and she's like, "I'm gonna drive us back in the helicopter," and he's like, "No, I should drive." No, I should drive. No, I should drive because I'm a man, sort of.
Yeah, I mean, it's calling back to the banter in the car. That but it's
still like
it's really really bad.
Yeah, if they just said that if he instigated and said, well, you should drive us back, it's your helicopter or something like that, then we could at least have a something called character growth. But no.
Yeah, there's nothing.
So yeah, but the Tommy Lee Jones story arc, that could have been interesting if we had more focus on that and actually did that. Because it's this thing with Tommy Lee Jones being like factually the absolute best helicopter pilot that exists in America. And then this hotshot guy, Nicolas Cage, who is a natural, and it's this sort of rivalry that Tommy Lee Jones' character needs to show that he still got it, but at the same time being proud and being like pushing Nicolas Cage character to be better, because he says like someone needs to take over from me, and you're like the one. And I that dynamic is kind of fun. It could have been something, but we only get like 5 scenes in the movie with this.
And then they don't do anything with it. And in the end, Tommy Lee Jones gets shot down, and Nicolas Cage don't get a chance to save him because Sean Young is there, and she saves him, but he also kind of saves her, and it just fizzles out. Doesn't lead anywhere.
Yeah, and that's like the entire movie. It just fizzles out in every aspect, sort of.
Yes, it's like with the bad guy. I found him. Eric Stoller. They do establish him in the beginning, like he was so fast we couldn't get him. Well, he just killed us. We had to get out of there. But after that, we're not really properly introduced to him, other than in pictures, and we're never shown like there's no like they're like in the middle of training, and a rescue helicopter lands, and they have several like wounded soldiers. What happened? Stoller attacked an air base 50 miles from here, or whatever. There's never this raising the stakes or showing that this is real. Because he never shows up until the very end, and then he doesn't have any lines. He doesn't do anything specific in the movie. He's just a guy in a helicopter that they kill in like 5 minutes. Yeah,
we get like about 5 minutes at the beginning of the movie fighting him, at all, just doing what the movie's supposed to be about, fighting in the South America. Do that in the 5 minutes at the beginning and like maybe 10 minutes at the end of the movie. Yeah. And the rest is just meandering about a military base doing nothing really.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I'd say it's not offensively bad. It's not like I've seen a lot worse, and I think it's
sure.
I just think it's very it's the height of most okay.
Yeah.
Just, and that's, we talked about this other times, that's almost worse. To be a mediocre okay movie is almost worse than being a bad movie.
Yeah, definitely. Because this is so. I mean, the climactic explosive end battle was so boring that I started watching another YouTube video on my phone. Because I was like, sure, they're gonna shoot. There's gonna be an explosion, and he dies. I get it. And I was like looking back and forth on my phone and the TV. Sorry. But it was so boring. And I mean, a movie about Apache choppers shouldn't be, and they have several real helicopters. Shouldn't be this boring. I mean, fair if you just want to turn it into like vehicle porn, basically, like a Fast and Furious movie, like, oh, it's just all about the engines and like whatever. But here, even that aspect of the movie is boring, because they just fly around in poorly edited shots, and most of it even is in a simulator. They're playing this terrible looking simulator video game thing. There's only like a few scenes where they actually fly the choppers and do anything exciting with it. So even that, the brain numbing aspect that should be entertaining in the simplest form to be the simplest form of entertainment, just doesn't work. Because they don't even fly around in the choppers that much. It's insane.
I mean, you're right.
How do you fuck up a movie about attack helicopters? Just fly them fast and blow things up. Come on! No, we're gonna train!
But it is...
Okay.
I don't know, because, again, it's hard to find actual information about the movie. Well, the production of the movie, at least. But,
well, yeah.
I mean, it really feels like it is a cash grab for Top Gun. It really does. Like,
yes.
In Top Gun, they train a lot. Let's do that. And they have planes. We have helicopters. And that feels like the pitch for the movie.
Oh yeah, they just wanted to make another Top Gun.
Yeah.
But they didn't have a Tony Scott directing. He knows how to direct action. This guy, whatever his name was, David Green, did not know how to direct action.
Has he made anything else?
Not like this. He's mostly known as, I think he's done a lot of TV. And I think he's like mostly known for directing 60 episodes of Emmerdale. You know, the daytime soap, British daytime soap.
Yeah, I'm looking it up now, and yeah, this was like the end of his career, sort of.
Yeah.
He did a few things
after 93, he didn't do much more.
No, he does have 2 projects in pre-production though.
Yeah, I'm guessing those are like in development hell.
Yeah,
it feels like those kind of things because he hasn't done anything since 2003. At least not as a director. I don't know, as a producer maybe. He's done some stuff as a producer, but yeah, he produced Bridezillas. And yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
See, I wonder why they picked him. He doesn't seem right for the role at all.
Probably because he was cheap.
As the director. Yeah. I wonder if maybe he's like a commercial director. So like, he can make sleek, cool looking commercials. And that works sometimes. Like Tony Scott did commercials. Ridley Scott did commercials before he made movies. But here it didn't work at all.
Gotta say though, one thing this movie had going for it was one thing. And that was I thought all the relationships except the love story seemed plausible. There was a lot of chemistry, I'd say, in this movie with actors. Even though they were like phoning it in, it looked like they have some good chemistry. That's what I felt, at least. Like,
yeah, I guess. Yeah, except for the...
Yeah, and like Tommy Lee with Nicolas Cage, and Nicolas Cage with his co-pilot, and I think there was Tommy Lee Jones with the army, the guy who ran the airbase.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there wasn't a lot of it, but it was believable, and I think the actors did the chemistry. They did some good job with that. Sure,
they had chemistry, but it wasn't fleshed out at all. It was just surface level. And the most important relationship in the movie was between Sean Young and Nicolas Cage, and they had zero chemistry, I think.
Yeah, they had like one scene where you could almost feel chemistry when they were out on their, I don't know, vacation or whatever, or went to that hotel. But that chemistry was sort of died because of the context of it all, of the whole love story. Because if you just took that like section of the movie or those scenes, and just put them in a vacuum, it feels like it's believable in any love story movie, sort of.
Sure, then it was fine, but it's kind of funny because like we said, it was Sean Young, and we've talked about her before, not in a podcast, but in a commentary track, how she has terrible chemistry with Harrison Ford in Blade Runner.
Oh yeah.
And it almost feels like that's been plaguing her career. I mean, not every movie maybe, because I haven't seen every movie, but she has no chemistry with her co-lead in Blade Runner. She has no chemistry with Nicolas Cage in this movie. Even in like Ace Ventura, she has there's a weird chemistry between her and Jim Carrey. She just doesn't seem to vibe with people. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that kind of ruins that part of the movie as well. Like there's no chemistry between our lovers.
No, and again, it is they did their best to make the love story not so creepy,
yeah,
and still having the extremely creepy. I will nag you until you go out with me, and then she falls in love with you because, well, she can't resist him. With these things that they have a history that helps a lot. That they actually were engaged once.
Yeah.
And all these things that she actually, what do you say? She doesn't change her ways. She doesn't see that he was right and actually stands up for herself throughout the entire movie. So they do their best, but it's still in the core this horrible trope that should have ended with like the 80s.
Yeah, exactly. And even that they tried to do more of a feminist angle, but it didn't work because it was just her saying things, but then they didn't do anything with it. Yeah. It was they were paying lip service.
Yeah, because I mean, in the beginning of the movie, I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" When they met that first time, and you didn't know they had a history. It was so weird,
so creepy.
When he was like lingering, and she gotta go date with me, and she's like, "No, fuck you." And then, like, I think it's Tommy Lee Jones who says, like, "Oh, you have a problem with women in the army?" "No, only that one." And
yeah.
What? You're just better. What's going on? And then later, so, oh, they just dropped that they were engaged. Oh, okay. Well, I guess.
They just mention it. Like, in one line of dialogue. It's when she's dancing with the guy at the club. So, hey, you shouldn't get between a man and his fiancée. You're like, what? You were, you were engaged. Well, thank you for telling us.
Like 30 minutes into the movie.
Yeah. There is not a lot more to be said about this movie. For me, even Nicolas Cage was just boring in this one, except for those like two little beep beep on the EKG when he screams. But and I did laugh when he said, "I am the greatest." but
that's just because it's Nicolas Cage. It's not
exactly.
Just the movie.
No. I thought he was terrible in the beginning. He looked so dead-eyed.
Yeah.
Like he has looked kind of aloof and zoned out in other movies that we've talked about, but this was just he didn't look like he cared at all, which was very different. Because he usually looks like he at least cares, but not here. I think this was just a pure paycheck. Because it feels a lot like a propaganda movie, kind of like Top Gun was. Because it was basically like a recruitment video for the Air Force, and I'm guessing this was supposed to be the same thing. Like, we need more young men and women to fly choppers for us. Let's make a cool movie about helicopters.
Yeah, because Top Gun was sponsored sort of by the army, right?
I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah,
to some degree.
And I think that's the problem with this one. This one wasn't.
Yeah, they were just like, we'll make a movie and they'll endorse it when it's done.
No.
And then they saw the movie and they were like, no, we won't.
Yeah, and there's like 5 writers for this movie too.
Oh, really? I didn't look into that. Jesus Christ.
Well, alright, it's three writer or 3 people who are said as story by, and then there's 2 different writers for the screenplay.
Oh.
So.
Yeah, that's too many people. 3 people coming up with a bunch of ideas, telling 2 other people, write this down.
Yeah, sort of. And I promise the idea was 3 people sitting like at lunch. Like, would a Top Gun be cooler with helicopters? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the story. Got it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking into them, and well, one of the story writers, Dale Dye, he plays the commander of the base that they're at.
Oh. Okay.
And the 2 other guys, Stepp Tyner, He has no other credits. He only has this story credit for Firebirds. And John K. Swenson has 2 credits. One for writing or coming up with the story for this movie, and being a co-producer. Co-producer for this movie. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, who are these people? Why were they like? They have
Why
less
did anyone
credits
listen
than
to
I
them?
have on IMDb. How did they let them write a story for a $22 million movie? What?
And the screenplay writers, they seem like just these. I don't know what to call it, but yeah, you just pay them. They write something. People.
Yeah.
Written for a lot of TV shows, written a lot here and there.
Yeah, they're probably like I don't know what you call them, but like Joss Whedon before he became Joss Whedon. He was just a guy that they called to like punch up scripts.
Yeah, exactly.
They seem like those kind of guys.
I was thinking like studio musicians, but for movies.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, they seem like those people. Yeah, I mean. Fair, but then they should have known how to make at least an entertaining movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair if it's not a good, but at least entertaining.
Exactly. But there's just nothing that works in this movie.
Yeah. One thing though that did work. I don't know if that's good or a bad thing though. For me at least, I thought the movie went over really quickly. I mean, it's a short movie, but it felt like it went really quickly.
Maybe I didn't really think of it. I was constantly checking like, oh, it's only been 30 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So for me, it didn't go quickly.
Because I looked at the clock the first time and like, yeah, it's been like 15 minutes. Oh, it's been 40 minutes. Fuck, alright.
Okay, yeah.
But maybe just because the movie doesn't.
Well,
it feels
good
like
for you. Good for you.
Yeah, but maybe just because it feels like the movie doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah,
and that. Yeah. And also, every scene has like a lot of things happen in every scene. A lot of people talking with each other. A lot of background things. Things are always happening. We never really stand still.
Yeah, that's true. Like there's always movement. There's always something happening, but there's not really anything happening. It's like a Transformers movie. It's a bunch of moving parts, but nothing really happens.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the only few moments where you can like sort of get some breathing room is the scenes with Tommy Lee Jones and his wife, and the scenes where they are in like study hall or whatever.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's always people are always walking places, moving.
yeah, and doing nothing really.
Yeah, jumping up and down in cockpits without actually doing anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, but again, it's definitely a movie. I mean,
sure. I mean, it is a movie. It has a beginning, middle, and an end.
Yeah.
Even though it has
no ups or downs.
No, not at all. There's no conflict.
No.
There's no raising the stakes. There's nothing. So it is barely a movie. I would say. It just qualifies. It gets a D minus or F plus, I suppose. Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, because this is one movie that I will never watch again.
I read a review of this movie, which was.
We should mention that it has a terrible metaphor.
Oh, here, this is the. I mean, this is even I think this is a little too harsh of a review. So it's 1 out of 10 stars.
Okay.
User review on IMDb.
Oh, okay.
It's worst dialogue ever written for a film. That's how it starts. That's the headline. So, subject says it all. The worst movie ever made. Seriously, 0 redeeming qualities. Even the action scenes are boring. Stilted dialogue, insipid plot, derivative storyline, laughable direction and acting. This film is a landmark of bad film. Something that should be enshrined in the Hall of Shame. Do not watch this film under any circumstances, including being held at gunpoint. Rarely will you see talented people having their skills so poorly used, even when they obviously phoned in the part. Cage and Jones, usually actors of some quality, are total stereotypes and probably made the biggest mistake of their acting career by allowing this film to be released with their face and name attached to it. Sean Young, however, performs up to expectations, as there are none for her. Did I mention that this movie is incredibly, unbelievably bad?
That's, I mean, I get it. That's a little harsh, maybe. I'd rather watch this movie than getting shot. But
yeah, I mean,
that's barely. It's like, dude, just shoot me in the arm or something, please, please. But yeah,
I mean, I would never want to see this movie again, but I wouldn't mind seeing it. I wouldn't be like, oh, fuck off, take it away. Which was like at least 60% of the Adam Sandler movies. I mean,
yeah, this doesn't reach the depths that Adam Sandler did.
Yeah, I mean, so it's very bad if we put it in context with the other movies we watched with Nicolas Cage. Yes, yeah, but in context of movies generally, it's okay. Again, as I said, it's okay. And just let's get it over with. What's your score of this movie?
Oof. Out of a 10, this is like a. I don't know why I'm trying to like find some redeeming features. I'll give it a. Oh. I want to say. Listen. I want to give it a 3, but I'm trying to find out why I want to give it a 3 because it's. You know what? I'll give it a 2. Because, what's his name? Tommy Lee Jones is okay. That's the only redeeming quality for it, of it, for me.
So
that warrants it a 2 out of 10.
So I'm gonna put it as a 5.
Sure, okay.
It's just right in the middle for me.
No, okay. Yeah, I know. I was more than bored towards the end. I was like, oh, can it just be over? So I would, if anyone says, oh, you want to watch Firebirds? I'm like, no, we're not going to watch it.
Now I'm going to change. It's actually a 4. It's a 4.
Okay, yeah.
Because I looked at the other scores I put down, and that was unfair to put it a 5. Because I gave Valley Girl a 5. So.
Oh, jeez, yeah. Well, this is definitely worse.
But I gave Boy in Blue 4, and I think this is on the same level as Boy in Blue. Completely different reasons, but same about.
Yeah.
Well, feelings, I'd say.
Yeah, for me, Boy in Blue at least felt more like a movie, and some stuff happened in it, even though it was bad.
Yeah, but that had like the opposite issue for this movie. In that movie, so many things happen all the time, and there's again no structure, and yeah, it's just no.
Sure.
I would. It would be a coin flip if someone put a gun to my hand and said, "Boy in Blue" or Firebirds. I just had to flip a coin. Equally, not excited.
Yeah, but we're talking about one movie is about a professional rower in the 1900s, and another one is about attack helicopters. And the fact that we even have to discuss which one to watch, that says something about Firebirds. It shouldn't really be a competition between those two.
Oh, we didn't even. Well, we talked a little bit about it, but I think we should talk more about it. Nicolas Cage character, the biggest fucking Mary Sue of all time.
Oh yeah, he knows everything.
He can't do anything wrong, and he is perfect in every way. And the only problem he has is that he's right eye dominant or left eye dominant.
Yeah,
which he fixed in like 5 minutes because he's the best at everything. He's
a Mary Sue, or a Gary Stu, or whatever you call it. Yeah.
So I mean, I was thinking about that. Like, why does Sean Young, what's her character want to be with this asshole?
Yeah, that's another thing. I don't know. There is no connection between the two.
But
there's no chemistry.
We have the answer in the text.
Oh.
Because he is the best at everything.
Oh, sure, right. And
everything.
He's even though she wants to, she can't resist him.
No, but imagine, you have this person. Yeah, he's a bit like dominant and has a lot wrong gender roles, or subscribed to wrong gender roles. But I mean, he is the best in the world in the bed. He brings the best gifts. He makes the most pay. He is the best in every category except those. I mean, come on, it would be hard.
That's true. I mean, I did start questioning my sexuality while watching him. So.
I mean, because he is the best.
Yeah, he's the best. Definitely, he's the best.
And let's say he's perfect. That's the biggest, one of the biggest problems in the movie. Like, why should we care about the person who is the best at the beginning of the movie, and at the end of the movie, he's still the best.
Yeah, he doesn't learn anything. He doesn't grow. There's nothing. That's the problem with Mary Sue characters. Yeah, that they're not interesting. There are no flaws.
Yeah, and I was thinking, like, at half of mark of the movie, I knew it wouldn't happen, but I wish that would be the end of the movie, or the twist. It would be the same as what's that movie called? The Tom Cruise movie we made. We did a podcast about when he loses his legs, sitting in a wheelchair.
Oh, Born on the 4th of July.
Yeah, if that would have happened to this character.
To humble him, no.
That he just crashed, of course not for any fault of his own, obviously, because he can't do no fault, but...
Yeah.
And then he just... the last half of the movie is just him recovering and realizing that he is not the best anymore, and being bitter and resenting. That would have been great.
That's not how it works. No. He can't. Our hero can't be flawed, because then he's not a hero. It's
that's how heroes work.
Exactly. It's just bad writing. It's terrible writing. It's a terrible movie. I'm gonna stick to my. I'm sticking to my 2 out of 10.
Yeah, that's very fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that's Firebirds. I don't know. I don't have anything else to talk about.
No. We've pushed it as far as we can at 40 minutes.
Yeah, but next week, we can talk about the Nicolas Cage career so far.
Yeah.
We've seen a good chunk of movies. I think we've seen about I think it's 12 movies. This is the 12th movie, I think.
I don't have the list in front of me, but I'll trust you. Yeah.
No, 11th movie.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, we've seen him grow quite a bit since Valley Girl.
Oh, sure, yeah.
He has really grown into the lead character actor that we know today.
Yeah.
I mean, he still takes some, specifically now, 1990, he takes a lot of weird roles. With the Italian movie Last Week and Firebirds now.
Yeah.
And next week is Wild at Heart, which I don't really know which movie that is.
It's a David Lynch movie. I've seen parts of it when I was very young, too young to watch it. So.
Yeah, and I would say that taking a David Lynch movie is a weird move, generally, specifically at that time.
Yeah, that seems to be the thing. It's kind of all over the place. Like, he does artsy-fartsy movies, and then he takes a leading role in a Canadian movie, and then he goes to Italy to film a war movie, and then he tries to be an American action hero, and it's all over the place. And I'm wondering if it's him just testing everything, or if it's his agents trying to establish him as something, and him going against that and doing other things. Yeah. It's all over the place.
But I think we have it's maybe quite too early to say, but we had a prediction when we saw Vampire's Kiss that he would settle down a little bit, because he now in that movie he actually could do whatever the fuck he wanted and just act out the rage cage within him.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And I think so far it feels like that's true, that he's taken a little more mellow approach to movies and he hasn't had this thing he had before of wanting weird accents and weird things and trying to act in weird ways.
He got that out of his system with Vampire's Kiss, yeah.
I mean, what was it? Peggy Sue Got Married, where he was like, I'm gonna need to talk with this weird voice. And things like that. So we'll see if how long this keeps up before he needs to let it out again, let out some steam.
Yeah, well, based on the movies I have seen from the 90s, it's gonna start creeping back pretty soon. Believe me.
Yeah, so I'm pretty... I haven't seen a lot of the movies that's coming. I don't think I've seen any of these movies.
What is it? We have Wild at Heart. We have Deadfall, Leaving Las Vegas, Guarding Tess.
Guarding Tess. It Could Happen to You, Trapped in Paradise. I haven't seen none of these, I think.
Okay, now I've seen a few. I've seen Deadfall. I've seen Leaving Las Vegas. And I can tell you, in those movies, he's definitely the Rage Cage again. Huh?
Oh, right, no. It Could Happen to You, I've seen that one. That's kind of cool.
Oh, yeah.
If I remember correctly.
It's the premise is fun. I don't remember if the movie's any good, actually.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
It's a few weeks to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the 1990s, year 1990, he made 4 movies, and this was the third of them. No, the second one. So he has 2 more movies that came out the same year.
That might be why he's acting kind of dead-eyed. He's very tired.
Yeah, but also as we discussed last week, that probably some of these movies weren't made the same time.
No, sure.
Probably
they just came out at the same time.
Yeah. So next week it's Wild at Heart, which also same year, and then Zandali, which is also
I haven't seen
same
that
year. No, me neither. So we'll see next week if Rage Cage comes out.
Oh yeah, I have a sneaking suspicion it will, if I remember that movie. But yeah, join us next week for Wild at Heart. And we'll talk more about that. But if you wanna, please check us out. If you're watching this on YouTube or listening to this on Spotify or iTunes or wherever you're listening to this, check us out on patreon.com/don't make a scene, and you can actually probably already hear those episodes because we record them in advance and put them on Patreon for our paying audience. So if you want early access, check us out there. But otherwise, just give us 5 stars or a thumbs up or whatever you do on your given platform. And we'll see you in the next one. But until then, have a good one. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
The Nicolas Cage podcast is part of Please Don't Make a Scene. It's produced, directed, and edited by Tobias Vedén. Hosted by Tobias Vedén and Christopher Billén after an original idea by Christopher Billén. Executive producer is Annika Vedén. And a big thank you to all our sponsors over at Patreon for keeping the show going. Laura Kinney, Rasmus Jonsson, Mom, and Dad. If you also want to join our Patreon, you can at www.patreon.com/don'tmakeascene. Help us keep the show going.